Pale Mangione is accused of shooting Roman toxin in front of his Midtown hotel on December 4th. The lead was found dead after he was recognized at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania Monday after a 5-day manhunt. A 3D printed handgun sentence similar to what was used in the shooting, also a 3-page handwritten manifesto that hinted at no will toward corporate America and the healthcare system. Kristen Marks and Donald argues. Being ungovernable is criticizing me and we celebrating the action demanding of After is arrested, critics claim the healthcare industry started pricing his actions online. About half of locals in his tech bag. Insurance companies immediately called out all the people that are suffering because they deny their claims. But you do not celebrate the assassination of another human being who's just doing his job. After suspects arrest Monday in Oxford, PA, Pennsylvania Governor Joe Shapiro said in America we don't kill people, but to resolve policy differences. Let's not forget to build our name.
We're going to have an offensive talk in a moment about foreign lands, dictators, people, nations. It's probably going to offend pretty much everybody. That'll always be a good time. A little update on the Pete Hegseth stuff. Mitch McConnell suffered a fall.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terrence Arjun. I'm the manager of 192 Books, and welcome to the launch of Herscht 7769 at Paula Cooper Gallery. Welcome to those of you who are here in person and on our live stream. All of our events are live streamed and archived at the Paula Cooper Gallery Studio website. And thank you to Viktor Lois for his performance. Viktor Lois was born in 1950 and brought up in Tatabánya, one of the industrial strongholds of Hungarian socialism, amongst waste machines and wreckage. Lois' work has been exhibited and performed frequently in major museums and galleries throughout Europe, such as Austria, Germany, the USSR, France, the Netherlands, and Serbia. His work is in the permanent collection of the Contemporary Art Museum of Budapest, and a building in the compound of the Mayan Museum in Tatabánya is dedicated solely to him and collects more than over 70 pieces of Lois' work. In 1993, he represented Hungary as a participant in the 45th Venice Biennale. And from 2010, he developed YV Art Museum in Acton, Massachusetts with the VESP. So we're going to have László Krasznahorkai, Hari Kunzru, and a special guest. Krasznahorkai was born in Gyula, Hungary in 1954. He worked for some years as an editor until 1984 when he became a freelance writer. He now lives in reclusion in the hills of St. László. He has written 10 novels and won numerous prizes, including the Prix Formentère, the National Book Award for Translated Literature, the International Booker Prize, and the Best Translated Book Award in Fiction. He'll be speaking with Hari Kunzru, who is the author of 6 novels: Red Pill, White Tears, Gods Without Men, My Revolutions, Transmission, and The Impressionists. He's a contributor to the New York Review of Books and writes the Easy Chair column for Harper's Magazines. He is an honorary fellow of Wadham College, Oxford, a fellow of the Royal Society of Literature, and he has been a Cullman Fellow at the New York Public Library, a Guggenheim Fellow, and a Fellow of the American Academy in Berlin. He teaches a creative writing program at New York University and is a host of the podcast Into the Zone. And with that, I present this event with the assistance and collaboration of my colleagues, Lisa Knowlton, Addie Gandhi, Colin Riley, and Haley Ernest, and with the assistance of Jake Ewart and Cisco at Paula Cooper Gallery. And thank you also to Mika Chu, Victoria Nabolson, Barbara Epler, and everyone at New Directions. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. What a pleasure to be here and to see László again. László's asked me to introduce the novel in a few words before we speak, which wasn't something I planned doing. I planned on drawing you out to do this. But we're here to talk about Herscht 07769, which is written in the style that only László could have written a novel in, a single looping extraordinary sentence that lasts hundreds of pages. And I had COVID a couple of weeks ago and was isolating in a spare room in my house, and I took this book in, and it turned out to be actually just the best companion for that I could have wanted. There was something about being in this dreamscape of a novel that felt very appropriate for my slightly discombobulated mental state. But the setting of the book is Turingia, in this sort of depressed former East Germany, and it centers around Florian Herscht, who's a kind of gentle, almost sort of saintly giant. I mean, a figure who turns up a lot in László's fiction is kind of, I mean, maybe related in some way to Prince Mishkin or someone like that. But Florian is unfortunately part of a crew of a graffiti cleanup. He works for somebody known only as the boss, who has this his group of people who clean up graffiti and otherwise do small jobs around the fictional small town of Kana in Thuringia, which is very near to Eisenach, the birthplace of Johann Sebastian Bach. And Bach features very heavily in the novel, as do the boss's political commitments, which lean very far to the right. The slogan of the cleaning company is Alles wird rein, everything will be clean, which has more connotations than simply graffiti cleanup. Florian is also very concerned with the end of the world, which is another familiar subject for László Krasznahorkai. Specifically, he has a great worry that the asymmetry between matter and antimatter, which he's heard about from an old physicist who lives in the village, will actually cause the end of the world. And he feels he has to try and do something about this. And he wonders who he can approach, and the person he chooses to approach is the most qualified person he can think of, who is Angela Merkel, who has both the political power and the scientific background, perhaps, to solve this problem for Florian. So he writes many, many letters to Angela Merkel, and as the novel begins, his preoccupation with the end of the world is leading him to think that he maybe needs to do more than just write letters. I think that's a good setup for the conversation. And so, welcome, László. What a pleasure to have you here. Maybe you could start by talking to us a little. Maybe people are not so familiar with Turingia and the cultural context that Florian Herscht comes from.
I wanted to write at the beginning just a book about Johann Sebastian Bach. And that's why I went to Turingen. Turingen is a south part of the East Germany. And there I wanted to visit all of the places which I could, and where Johann Sebastian Bach was born, went to the school, elementary school, went to the college, and after that, Leipzig, to Leipzig. I don't know in English, is there any name for Leipzig? Yeah. Maybe Leipzig. Leipzig, where he was the main music director for a wonderful church there. So I wanted to write and something because I was absolute under the shock, the continuous shock, because of the music of Johann Sebastian Bach from my early childhood. I played on clavier Bach, and Bach remained also my my closest master, somewhere very, very high. And that was the minimum that I have to write something about Bach. But when I went to Eisenach, when I went to other cities there, Erfurt, and so on, behind me, a huge young man followed me, and behind us there is another reality, and in this reality belongs not to us, not to our reality, and there are 1,000 and 100,000 million different beings who want to take part in our reality. And this young guy, this huge young guy, was one of them. And he started to talk to me about his own fate. And we went from Eisenach to Erfurt, from Erfurt to Leipzig, and he was always behind me, or later next to me, and his story of his fate was always and always more interesting. And after that, I couldn't do any other than to write down what I heard from him. And actually, this is a huge monologue about his fate. And after that, I hope he belongs also to our reality. And what else? I was not a writer for this book, I think. I was just a scripter. I had to write down what I heard from this guy. My only ability to find maybe sometimes the right words, and that's all what I did. The story belongs to Florian Herscht, and I suggest him also to you, if you can read it.
You did a long interview with my friend Adam Thirlwell once, where you said that writers have this ability to bring these characters from the other world into our reality. But I imagined it as a more active process rather than you being stalked by somebody from behind you. So you
also
had
behind you,
behind all of us.
just
it's a question of listening to the right. So you had Florian Herscht came and loomed over you, and you had Bach, but also because you wanted to go to Eisenach to meet Bach, you also found yourself in this very economically depressed region of Germany, which is a stronghold of the AfD, the far-right party, and has a history of even more extreme right-wing groups. When I was thinking about Eisenach today for this, I came across a small piece of information that I wonder whether was also important to you, which was that there was a group of neo-Nazis who went on a killing spree over several years, killing Turkish immigrants.
Yeah.
And they were caught after they robbed a bank in Eisenach.
Yes.
And you have poor Florian is under the thumb of the boss, who is also the boss of a neo-Nazi cell. and so you draw this cultural Turingia and this modern neo-Nazi Turingia together. Could you say more about when that emerged for you?
Yeah. East Germany nowadays is the main danger for the German democracy, I think. Actually, it is very difficult to say why even East Germany, because after the Second World War, when the Soviets occupied East Germany, or got in this business after the Second World War, East Germany and East Berlin, and then in West Berlin started a big process to find a new identity, to confess that what we did in the Second World War, but in East Germany, the politics, the so-called socialist or communist party told for the people, we build now a new world with you people. And of course, no one word about the past, about what happened with Germans from the early 30s until the Second World War. Just I was to say that, yeah, in West Berlin, and in West Berlin and in West Germany, yeah, they are Nazis, really, and this is terrible, but we never heard about it, that we were also a part of this terrible historical story and sin. Never was the East German faced against this German past. And maybe this is one of the reasons, I don't know, that today the most dangerous political processes come from East Germany, especially Turingia. This is absolute an accidental thing that even Turingia is such a terrible political present, and Johann Sebastian Bach and the neo-Nazi movement together in a pace. This is absolute crazy, but that's true. We have now we German. We have now an election in Germany. And in Turingia became the neo-Nazis the strongest party, a neo-Nazi party. In Saxon and other states in Germany became the neo-Nazi party the second place. In Brandenburg, which was the central part of the East Germany. This neo-Nazi party catch the second place. The danger is so big in Germany. And next to this very tragic election, it means tragic also for the Nazis. Not just for the normal people. Sorry from the Nazis. But this is also a tragic for the school land, and the economical difficulties helps naturally to this very radical right movements. And nowadays you cannot say any weight, any normal political movement against the neo-Nazis in Germany. And this is very strange because Germany is the most powerful the most powerful country in the EU. And what's coming now? Nobody knows that.
I mean, the landscape of the novel is it's filled with threats and secrets. There are wolves maybe in the hills. There's somebody who is spraying a wolf's head graffiti on the walls, much to the anger of the boss who has to clean it up. But there's also this pervasive feeling of stagnation and of time not flowing forward in the way that it ought to flow. And that seems to me to reach back to the ways that you described rural areas in Hungary, in Schartentango, and melancholy of resistance. Were you attracted to this atmosphere because of that connection? Was it familiar to you?
Difficult after the East Germany processes to mention what's happening now in my home country. But this is for me maybe a little bit more a deeper tragedy. What's happening now in Hungary, because the right wing is not just they sit not just in the government, but the most difficult problem is this a few million people who voted for this Nazi party or proto-Nazi party, and okay, if in a few years something will happen in the political sphere, okay, but what can we do with these few million people who elected before or voted for this right and right-wing parties? This is a deepest problem. My deepest problem, also in Germany, also in Hungary, and actually also in Poland. But now in Poland is something happened.
Yeah.
But there are also people who voted for years long to the right wing parties, and that's why I wanted to say just a few things about Hungary, because it touched me very, very deeply. That because I didn't see any hope for this country, because this country is not a country. This country is a psychiatric clinic, and the doctors went away, and people play that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will be the doctor and you will be the patient. This is really a psychiatric country. Sorry.
I mean, but Orban's Hungary is very popular with the incoming administration here. It's being held up as a cultural model for America.
No one word about this friendship. I hope this will be a flourish time for both partners.
So in the middle of this terrible, depressed landscape, there's Bach, there's still Bach. But for the boss, Bach is just a symbol of German pride. It's a kind of it's part of his nationalism, and he thinks that Florian should feel the same way. So he makes Florian listen to Bach, but something happens to him. He has
Florian understands nothing about, because Florian is not Florian is an angel. The angels cannot understand this Nazis and aggressivity. So.
Florian is almost untouched by his association with this Nazi group, but when he's given Bach to listen to, he has a much more profound experience of the music than the boss. And is that what you and Florian shared? Was that what you talked about?
Florian is very thankful for this elder man, because this elder man found him in a house with children without parents. And that's why Florian, in his naivety, thought that the boss,
he's grateful to the boss for a little apartment and a job.
And forever. Mm-hmm. And because he understands almost nothing about this Nazis' tension, and also not about this proud condition in the boss figure. When if I may, I mentioned just a little scene from the book, because Florian, if he can, makes always escape from this group. They didn't want to take part in this right group there, and one night, he walked on the streets, and when he knows, of course, where this group live, in an occupied house or something like that. And he sees that the gate is open, and there inside is almost dark, just a lamp like this. Mm-hmm. He can see, and from this floor came some very bad smell or something like that. And Florian has his own idea what to do next, but just like a side work, he think that, oh, poor Nazis. Because this whole picture about this open gate and this lamp and this bad smell air, mm-hmm. He thought just, oh, poor Nazis. He lives in what a condition.
I mean, he is a man who's filled with goodness and compassion, which is the only way he could possibly not be contaminated by the world that he's in. But he is afraid because of physics. He's concerned about the end of the world because he's heard, but maybe he's misunderstood something from this another father figure in the village. So maybe you could say something about why Florian is obsessed with this question of matter and antimatter, and what that anxiety leads him to.
At the beginning of the novel, we know that Florian visited lectures from a physics teacher, and this physics teacher for 1 year gives a lecture about the wonderful world of the physical essence or something like that. And when this teacher tried to explain something about the quantum physics, quantum physics in English? Quantum physics, and he tried to explain that there is, it could be an explanation about the beginning of the universe. He tried to explain that in the first second, part of the second in the time when the Big Bang happened.
Bang, yeah.
Bang happened. Was born a lot of matter and a lot of antimatter in the same number. Matter, particles, antimatter, matter, antimatter, matter, antimatter. But it happened once, a small mistake. After matter didn't was born an anti-matter particle, and that's why we have the word. He told, and Florian is absolutely astounded. He cannot believe that he heard the right explanation of the word, and that's why he visits again and again these lectures to understand a little bit better what happened in the beginning time, and but that was of course not possible months after months, and that's why this teacher invited him to his home, and this whole story, explanation, and astonishing face of Florian was the stable condition in the city from the side of Florian. And actually, that's why there is a motto in the book, in front of the book: hope is a mistake. And everybody think that Krasznahorkai is really a terrible figure, because about the hope, how can people say something like this? That hope is a mistake. This is really the last one. Please don't read Krasznahorkai more, because, but if you read the book, fortunately, you get another explanation. What does it mean, this sentence? Namely, it's a very positive sentence, because the hope is the only mistake what we had to have a word, the matter word, the material word, you know. That's it behind this whole. This is just a level of the novel, but this is an important level of the novel.
I mean, before we pass on to the readings, I want to ask you something about your style. The book comes to us in translation, a wonderful translation by Ottilie Mozart, but I know that you are a very musical writer. The way that you consider your prose is very much in the way that a musician works. And I read that as a young man, as a teenager, you worked as a jazz pianist. And there's something of the improvisatory following a thread about the long sentence. I mean, is this jazz? Is that a fair comparison, or is this Bach?
Could be, but the truth is different. I mentioned that the writer of this book,
This is Florian, not you. Yeah.
This is Florian's story. I could find just words for this story, and I couldn't improvise. If I would be the writer for such a book like this, I could improvise, and in this case, I could answer that yes, the influence of especially the free jazz, is for me very important. Was and remains also very important. I played really in a jazz band, in a jazz trio, on piano. When I was 14, between 14 and 17 years old. Yeah, mainly Thelonious Monk, because he was accidentally my favorite musician, but not just Monk.
To go off topic a little, I mean, Monk and Bach. I mean, Monk is about the imperfections. I mean, his mistakes he makes the style out of not hitting the note when you think he's going to do it. Whereas that sort of metaphysical perfection of Bach seems very different.
Two genius can live under the sun, no?
Of course.
This is very different, of course. This heavenly music from Johann Sebastian Bach, and the very earth music, maybe from something from the hell sometimes, from in the case of Thelonious Monk.
And before I step down and allow the readings so I must ask you one thing. The first time I saw you read was at Housing Works here in New York City. Internet tells me that's like about 12 years ago. And you said, and I'm paraphrasing, you were asked about why you write in a long continuous sentence, and you said the full stop belongs only to God.
Yes.
And
he will use it.
And more recently, you worried me by saying that Baron Wenkheim would be your last novel, would be the full stop. But here comes Florian speaking through you. Is there more, or is there a full stop?
If you are in a condition that after so many empty years, you want to tell to somebody something very, very important, which is so important that you cannot, if you can speak, if you can talk to somebody, this one message or about your fate or about something, you cannot make in short sentences, but just like lava, without any, not without any construction, but you cannot make very kind, small sentences. This is okay, but not in my case. I wrote books just when I had to say something very important, not from me, but for example, from Florian Herscht. This monologue is a life, and this is a question of life and death for him. And I think, in any case, that the small sentences, this form, is artificial. This monologue, without any small constructions, is natural. If I want to say that I love you, Hari,
thank you
so deeply, but years, I need to have courage to say that, Hari, I love you. But then, this is not just a sentence. Because I love you, because you are so nice, so beautiful, so in a small sentences, it's impossible. This. It means not that this long monologue, this is not a monologue, but a kind of monologue is without any construction. There is a very strict construction. This is easy to read. This is not it would be a big problem, of course, if using long sentences, and it would be very difficult to read. That's why, because I waited for the full stop. When is coming? If it would be the case, it would be a problem. Throw away. But I hope this is not my case. This is a very strict construction, and you can read it. You can breath in, breath out. You can read and follow this heartbreaking story.
Well, that was certainly my experience of it. The labor that you've put into making it incredibly easy and flowing for the reader is much appreciated. So thank you very much, László.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't know. You stay and I go.
I have a friend here, Patti Smith, and she was so wonderful to accept our invitation to read something, because once years ago she read two or one, I don't remember, two small texts by me, and that was so beautiful, like a song by her. Can I ask you to read something from me?
Sorry, that's, let me, it's, no, just, I'm not, well, no, I'm used to a straight mic, so it's okay. No, it's just, I need to, it's okay, we're like right here, sorry. No, it was fine the way it was. Thank you, okay. All right. Sorry, I'm very old-fashioned and like a straight mic. This is like new contraption. I think it's called a boom, and but you're fine. You're good. Thank you, László. The first piece is called Universal Thesis. Now, at last, for Samuel Beckett. The first lecture. I do not know who you are, gentlemen. I couldn't quite make out the name of your organization. And frankly, I must confess, I am not entirely clear about what kind of lecture you expect me to give here. After all, you must be aware that I am not a lecturer. I have given much thought to the matter. I rack my brains trying to find out what this is all about, just as I am trying right now in front of you. But it's best if I admit that I haven't succeeded. I just don't know what you expect of me. And I have a lingering bad feeling that perhaps you yourself aren't clear at all about it. It had also occurred to me that possibly you are mistaking me for someone else. You'd intended to invite a certain person, but he wasn't available. And only because of that you did select me, because I am the one who most reminds you of that person. You are not saying anything. Fine, it's all the same to me. Mr. President, gentlemen, I shall speak about melancholy. and I will begin by going way back. I like that. Actually, that reminds me of in The Third Man, when Holly Martin is whisked away from the dark streets of post-war Vienna, and he's taken to this room, and he thinks he's going to be interrogated by, I don't know, some kind of secret police, and he's thrust into this writers' conference, and he's asked to deliver a talk about existentialism in the modern novel, and he is in actuality a writer of cowboy novels. I think Samuel Beckett would like that too. I don't need anything from here. I would leave everything here, the valleys, the hills, the paths, and the jaybirds from the garden. I would leave here the peacocks and priests, heaven and earth, spring and fall. I would leave here the exit routes, the evenings in the kitchen, the last amorous gaze, and all of the city-bound directions that make you shudder. I would leave here the thick twilight falling upon the gland, gravity, hope, enchantment, and tranquility. I would leave here those beloved and those close to me, everything that touched me, everything that shocked me, everything that fascinated and uplifted me. I would leave here the noble, the benevolent, the pleasant, and the demonically beautiful. I would leave here the budding sprout, every birth and existence. I would leave here incantation, enigma, distances, the intoxication of inexhaustible eternities. For here I would leave this earth and these stars, because I would take nothing with me, because I've looked into what's coming, and I don't need anything from here.
What can I do after Patti Smith? Maybe you experienced that I could not speak English, but I could speak Hungarian. That's why the same text, I don't need anything from here. I would like to read you for a farewell in Hungarian. Én itt hagynék mindent, a völgyeket, a dombokat, az ösvényeket és a szajkókat a kertből. Én itt hagynék csapot és papot, eget és földet, teraszt és őszt. Itt hagynám a kivezető utakat, az éjszakákat a konyhában, az utolsó szerelmes pillantást, és a városok felé vezető összes borzongató irányt. Itt hagynám a tájra ereszkedő sűrű alkonyt, a súlyt, a reményt, a bűvöletet és a nyugalmat. Itt hagynék szeretettet és közelét, mindent, ami meghatott, megrendített, magával ragadott és felemelt. Itt hagynám a nemest, a jó akaratút, a kellemes és a démonian szépet. Itt hagynék minden rügyfakadást, minden születést és létet. Itt hagynám a varázslatot, a rejtélyt, a messzeségek, a kimeríthetetlenségek és az örökkévalóságok kábulatát. Mert itt hagynám ezt a földet, és ezeket a csillagokat. Mert nem vinnék semmit magammal innen, mert belenéztem abba, ami jön, és nem kell innen semmi. Thank you.
They are dying to stop these pigs. If you give them one more, they will never stop. And speaking of the United States Senate, Chuck Grassley's getting a lot of praise for something he did yesterday. He's not going to get that same praise on this show. I'll explain in a moment. Resolutions, many of us will vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. What about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Naturopath Dr. Dennis Black is on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because truthfully, it's not what you are feeding your pet, it's what you're not, which is why he created With Greens and Beyond Greens in the first place. Bring their dead food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega-3s, antioxidants, and so much more, all in their tasty formula your dog or cat will love. Improve your pet's health, digestion, energy, and have fewer vet visits. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Try it out. Get a Jumpstart Trio bag for only $20.
While Victor is playing, just one announcement. There are books in the back for sale, although there won't be any signings. Thank you.
Audiences across broadcast radio. Think podcasting can help your business? Think iHeart.